Okay, this tutorial is going to go over quite a few things, also using the UI app service from Google Apps script. And so if you have not seen the last tutorial, you might want to take a look at that one if some of the things in this tutorial do not make sense. And I'm going to show you what this app does. It allows you to enter a title, an article, and an author. And when you hit the submit button, it's going to go ahead and create a file, insert that contents into it, and it's also going to give you the public URL that you can send to anybody, and they'll be able to see as if it were a web page. This one just posted as plain text, but it gives you the idea. So when you enter that in, there we go, and there's our article as well as the author name at the end. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up my code here and do a quick walkthrough. Going to skip over some of it because I went over it in the last video, but basically it's starting with the same do-get. We're going to create our layout grid, our buttons, our panels, and our server handler. And I'm going to just go right into the click handler here, since this is the where the first real big change occurs. And so basically, if our article submit button is submitted, I'm going to take and pull the text out of each one of those text boxes, put it into its corresponding variable here, which is not absolutely necessary. I could just pass this e variable here onto our next function and call them out that way. I'm just going to do it this way so it's a little bit easier to follow, hopefully. And you'll see some of the stuff that's in this script are might be unnecessary or kind of going overboard with how it's split apart, but I wanted to show some of the features. So this is going to be a good template for you to start with, where you can just start copying and pasting into your own app to get it started, and then replace with your own text or add more text fields and buttons and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do here is create a variable called GoodSave, and what it's going to do is it's going to call this function, save article to DB. It's going to send it the title, article, and author, and you'll see here in the comments it says GoodSave returns the doc ID of new file as string. So what's going to be going into this variable right here ultimately when this returns is the doc ID of the new file that we just created. And so let's go down to this function, save article to DB. Here it is. So this is the one that just called, and you'll see here I'm catching title, article, and author. Now just a reminder, these could be named anything. They don't have to be named title, article, and author, but I just kept the same variable names again so it's easy to follow. And you'll see here the first thing we're going to do is get the number of items inside of our database. This is something that is going to be one of those things that's not necessary, but there's a feature in here I want to show you guys. So we're going to count how many items are in our ScriptDB database, and then we are going to put in a new record here, and it's always going to have the type blog post. When that blog post button is clicked, we're going to take the title that was passed from the previous function into here. Same thing with article, same thing with author. And doc ID, I'm just going to leave blank for now. We're going to set that after we create our file. And then this part right here, ID, this is the part that's not necessary, but this is a easy way to auto increment if for some reason in your ScriptDB you needed to keep track of your own ID's own unique ID inside the script database, ScriptDB database. This is the easiest way that I know how to do it. All I'm doing is taking the number of items and then adding 1. So the current number of items in ScriptDB plus 1. Add that in right there, real easy. After we create that record, we're going to go ahead and save that into our database. I'm going to create a new variable called new doc ID. This is the doc ID that's this is the doc ID of the new file we're about to create. And you'll see right here it calls update web folder. And you'll see in the comment it says post the article to the web, and this variable holds the new doc ID. So if you remember previously, we're going through a few functions in order to actually get to the new doc ID, so I'm going to pass it through a couple of functions. We're going to go ahead and pass the update web folder function. The current, which you'll see is the record, so everything in here is going to get passed on to the update web folder so we can look at it and do stuff to it. And here's our update web folder, and you'll see again I kept the variable name consistent just so it's easy to follow. And the first thing we're going to do is create a variable for the contents of our blog post or our article, and we're going to pull the article, which is this value right here. We're pulling that out, and we're also pulling out the author, and I'm putting it into contents. This is what we're going to insert to the new file after we create it. So here's our file variable, docslist.create file, and there's I believe a few extra parameters you can put in here as well, like you can set the MIME type. If by default you do not set the MIME type, the default is going to be plain text, which is what I got here. You can create HTML files, text files, Google Doc files, all kinds of stuff. You can look that up in the documentation. I'm going to leave it at the default plain text for right now, just so it's easy to follow. And you'll see create the new post file, and possibly change the. Now this was something I was going to do, but I did not do. Did that somewhere else. Didn't need that after all. And you're going to see right below that is our folder variable I'm making, docslist.getFolder bloggy. Now in order for this to work properly, obviously there has to be a folder named bloggy, and it doesn't have to be in your root for this to work, but it does have to be in your root in order for the URL that's returned to work properly. Now there's other ways you can go around that. Again, this is just real simple to get you started. And because what will happen is if bloggy does not exist, the app's just going to return an error, and this is not going to, it's still going to log it into your script-db, but it actually will not end up creating the file properly. And you'll see here we take file, we add it to folder, and so basically the new file we just created we're going to be adding to the folder bloggy. And then down below that we have a variable OB, and what I'm doing in here is getting the item within our script-db, which is it's already been saved to. I'm going to select the item that has our current ID inside of our script-db database, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that doc ID. If you remember I left it blank before, well now I'm going to set it. Now we've created our new file. The new file has its unique doc ID, so I'm going to get the ID of that file and put it into that object, and then I'm going to save that object, and then I'm going to return the doc ID. So let's go back up here where we called update web folder, and where did that go? Save article to DB. It's right in front of my face. I know. Oh, there it is. Update web folder. Okay. So doc ID went into new doc ID. We returned new doc ID to the variable that called this function save article to DB, which I believe was up here. Yeah, save article to DB. So again, our doc ID went into there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to check and see if that variable is actually holding any value, because it shouldn't have anything unless the file was actually created. So as long as it's not blank or null, and we should be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and make a new message text. It says your article was submitted successfully. I'm also going to give the user a link to their new file, and again this URL is only going to work if there is a bloggy folder in the root directory. So googledrive.com/host/ and then our doc ID, and that's how you show a public file on the web. So you're treating your Google Drive as if it were a web hosting server. And again, you'll have to have a bloggy folder in your root directory, and it also has to be shared to the public. And then I'm going to take message, which is the label we created. I'm going to set the text equal to our message. Clear form is going to, we'll go down here and look at clear form. Anytime you want to grab elements off of your application, just remember you are going to have to get the active application that you want to pull elements from. And I'm going to get element by ID, our title text, article text, and author text. And then I'm just going to set the text of all three of those fields equal to nothing. Then we close app, return app. And that is about all there is to this tutorial here. I'm going to post this all the source code for you. I'm also going to include some things down at the bottom which I use for testing, which are pretty handy. Our GetDB stuff, so you can always see the items that are logged into your ScriptDB database, and then also the delete all DB records, so that you can delete those anytime you want to. And actually, there's one more thing I guess I wanted to show you. So earlier when we made that file and everything, you can see it created the file and put it into Bloggy for us. And if we entered in that URL that was given, again, you can take that URL and send it to anybody, and they don't have to have a Google account or anything like that. It's just going to go ahead and show the article as well as the author. So that's all there is for this tutorial. Let me know what your thoughts are. Go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.